What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets Haber. We are going to be getting into a little NBA talk. Sheets, I haven't been playing the NBA, as you know, this week. I had to take a couple days off, but I'm going to play tonight. And I'm actually excited to be playing. There's some good games out there that I really want to watch. And yeah, that's basically where I'm at. It's been rough business for basically the last month in the NBA in general. But how about you? You still playing?
Yeah, I played yesterday. This was the best I can come up with as my best lineup. I got 20th in one of the three entry matches, which was okay. But I mean, even this was, aside from the chalk. Well, you know what? You helped me out. You got me on a Fournier a little bit. He did relatively nicely at 8%. And Olenek was somewhat low on the 15%. He did okay. I tried McDaniels. He did
McDaniels
nothing.
Killed us, yeah.
Yeah, and that was and Lillard certainly would have gotten there if they if they didn't blow them out in the third quarter.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll if you're playing tonight, I'm playing tonight. So let's get going.
All right. Let's do it game by game. I think we've got. Let me grab my sheet here. What do we got? 7.
My sheet as well.
Okay. All right. So starting off, I think that I'm still keeping my pools pretty small of players. I want to see how this ends up happening in Orlando, and if Ennis plays, which I know sounds like a nothing thing, but it could depend on Dwayne Bacon just playing 1 million minutes and Gary Harris playing 1 million minutes. But my first thought is to try to avoid this Orlando situation. Are you doing anything on the Orlando side? I know Cole Anthony's interesting. I just personally would rather avoid it. Bless you.
Yeah, I don't have any interest. The only guy that I'm coming up with on the Orlando side is a very fishy Gary Harris. I only say fishy just because I never really play him. I don't think I played him in 2 years. But he's emerging as literally the only value that I can come up with on this.
Yeah.
Excuse me, this whole team. So the majority of what I have is coming from the other side.
Yeah, I think that maybe I shouldn't have written off Okiki so fast. I think Chuma is totally in play here at 4,900, but that would be pretty much it for me. On the other side, who are you looking at?
Yeah, so I got Dean Wade, I got possible Damien Dotson at 3K. I would. Even though he's up to 5K, I still think Chetty Osman would be in play, so it'd be those 3.
That's exactly what I've got too. I don't know if I'm going to do it with Osman, and I don't know if I'm going to do it by the end of the day with Wade. I'll tell you who can still, I think he can contribute for a good team. I would like to see Kevin Love end up somewhere that he can actually still play. Are we missing out by not playing Jared Allen? I know I say this it feels like the same thing every show, but I just see I see the upside for him in every matchup. Now it's only happened a couple times in the recent memory, but one of them was a couple games ago against Washington. This feels like a good spot for him.
I don't know, does it? See, that's what I was wanting to ask you. See, he's had the spot against Washington, which I totally get.
Right.
But I mean, between Wendell Carter Jr. and even Bob when he's in, that's not the easiest thing in the world.
Wendell Carter Jr. when he was a member of the Bulls, they allowed the most fantasy points to centers, and it wasn't even.
Oh, really?
Not even close. You remember the game Embiid had 95 fantasy points. That was against. Okay. They were just getting crushed. So I don't. Wendell Carter is his reason. His problem is defense. So. But it doesn't really matter because we're not looking for offense out of him exactly. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I probably won't end up going there. Unfortunately, a lot of my things with basketball are going to be I really want to wait and see on certain things. And if other value doesn't open up, Dean Wade definitely does stand out as being reasonable value.
You like Garland at all?
Feels weird to pay 7.7 for him here. I just want to mention also, if we're going to play Dean Wade because everybody's out, look, it's the devil. I mean, whatever. Okoro's a good real life basketball player, but he's going to play tons of minutes for sure. And I just think that if we're thinking about playing Dean Wade, we should be thinking about playing Okoro probably, because it's not like Dean Wade when he was playing 30 minutes a game was just putting up anything more than 20s mostly. Every now and then he'd have a 30 plus performance, but I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there if we're starving for value. which we won't be probably, but Dean Wade and Dean Wade's fine. Okoro is okay.
I mean, all these guys can bust. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
between Dean Wade, Damien Dotson, and Chetty Osman, they all could bust. I mean, relatively easily.
They could, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of them 10x
Yep.
or whatever, you know. It's hard for me to be too excited about it early in the day for some.
I think that I don't think Chetty has much 50s in him, but I do think that both Wade and Dotson could both get 30.
Really? Yeah. He wasn't in 50s. I thought you were going to say that he would not score them. But yeah, I hear you. All right, Atlanta, Philly. Oh boy. Is this how I'm going to feel about this whole slate? Just I don't really want to play anybody.
Does Embiid always play the same day as Jokic? Is that always the question?
It seems so, but like I mean, look, in general, I'm all on let's play Embiid at low ownership. What I'm not a fan of is just trying to play too many centers against Capella. Now, it doesn't really matter in general, I guess you could say with Embiid, that's true. But I don't see the need to play him against Capella here.
Yeah, I didn't get to much at all, honestly, on either side of this game, which feels, I don't want to say feels wrong. It feels fine. Like you said, I mean, who's in a big hurry to play anybody against Capella? And if you want to play Capella, who's in a big hurry to play anybody against Embiid? I do think Embiid's a good play. I think I'd rather play Jokic or I'd rather play maybe Gobert. You know, so I'm probably not playing Embiid today.
Yeah.
But every time I do that, I look at this and I see 8% ownership, and I'm like, maybe I'm an idiot. I
got a guy for you that's going to be a lot less than 8%.
Oh, here we go. All right, I'm in.
It's going to be a fun one. I think you'll like it, actually.
Okay.
All right, Charlotte and Boston. As we talked about yesterday, and we got it wrong, sort of like saying, yeah, it's true, the game could have been a blowout, but then I'm like, well, Boston just kind of sucks. Like,
yeah.
They've been really bad, and
they sure do.
really bad. And when that happens, Jaylen Brown absolutely needed to take over, and he did. So we need to know if Tatum's playing in this and if Robert Williams are playing, especially Tatum. I don't know what to do until we have that information, because I would be saying obviously that you would have Jaylen Brown as a priority. I guess Tatum plays, and that makes me sort of just off the whole Boston side. But Graham, Rozier, Wanamaker, I feel gross saying it. All of these guys are solidly in play, and as is Cody Martin. I want to see their starting lineup before I decide anything. I really do. I don't know what they're going to do exactly. If they start Bismack, I would have a little bit of interest. They don't really need to start a true 5. But if you start Robert Williams on the other side, then it would make some sense to play him. I don't know. I think that he'll start. I don't know how much he's going to play and how much we're going to need him. But as of right now, I have it ranked as Graham, then Rozier, and then honestly Wanamaker for my interest in this team.
All right, I have a couple of things for you. Number one is I think Jaylen Brown's fine. I don't think he's like a top, maybe a top 10 play. I don't think he's like a top 5 play for me today. He's fine. Tatum, I presume he's playing, right? Tatum is fine, and not a bit like what's his name is saying, oh man, at least she's saying fine all the time, like fine, right? But a couple of comments. First of all, Charlotte is playing and even Brad Stevens commented on this. They interviewed him after the last game where they either ran them out of the gym or it was close to that happening. He's like, man, this team is like going so much faster than we are. I haven't seen a team play this fast. I mean, they were interviewing him during the game. They're like, I don't know the kind of pace this team is putting on. They're talking about Charlotte. And, that was in Charlotte, I think. It's coming to Boston. Dude, I'm in for freaking Rozier going back to Boston. I'm in for Wanamaker going back to Boston. I'll try it. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I'd rather play those guys over Graham. I'm in for a little narrative coming back to Boston for both those dudes. So I'm into Wanamaker. Rozier is not going to really project all that great, but who cares? So I'll take shots on both of them, and I think that Jaylen Brown. I'm looking at only 10% owned. That can't be right. I mean,
Yeah,
this could
if
be.
Tatum plays, he's not going to be that owned.
Okay, so I might play him then. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I think Brown and Tatum are both like decent plays if they're going to be low owned or even moderately owned. And I would certainly take a shot with Rozier.
I like the Rozier thing. You know what? I think you've talked to. I think I should have just thought about that one clearer. I do like Rozier. I think I would put him as the number one on that Charlotte side. I agree with you. Yeah, I like that play.
Okay.
All right, next game. There's a lot of games. It's a crazy one. Okay. So.
I'm muting my freaking mic for the AD call. All right, let's
100% I'm playing AD tonight.
There it is.
Not even like a question in my head. It doesn't need to work out every time. It needs to work literally one time, and then he'll be chalk the rest of the season. I don't see why we wouldn't play him here. The Lakers still have something to play for. He is, he did play 31 and a half minutes in the last game. Not very efficiently, but I can't resist a completely unowned AD, especially when, as you know, as I'm going to do pretty much every day, Russell Westbrook hasn't played as well in the last few games. And I mean, he still put up 65 in the last game. And that was, by the way, he had 65 points. He actually lost a half a point in overtime. So he was there in regulation.
That's amazing, by the way.
He's a monster, and I don't see any way. Like, he's literally willing them to the playoffs right now. I'm gonna just keep playing that. It's gonna be Westbrook and Davis in this game for me, and I think I'll have that in my main lineup, at least as of right now. That's my plan.
Talk me into it. That's it. I'll try it. I mean, I'll try. People don't sometimes appreciate like how good of a matchup it is against Washington, like in general.
Yep. And by the way, go ahead.
And unfortunately, like now most of the blowout risk is the Lakers getting blown out, I think. But with AD back, that kind of is mitigated.
Washington's lost once in the last month.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
now you're going to get a fast-paced game with that rates to be closer, and Lakers. The Lakers could use a win now and then. You know what I mean? Like they want decent seating.
Yeah.
So maybe, dude, even if you only get 32 minutes out of AD, I mean that's got to be plenty, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there is upside on that too. I mean, it's definitely.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Like this is the kind of game where I could see him with like 40 at the half. Like he has, it's a perfect matchup for him in every way. A team that turns the ball over, attacks the rim. There's going to be shot blocking, rebounding. The pace is going to be good. He's going to get open looks whenever he wants to. He's going to be able to beat anybody up, down low. I mean, everything leads to like, if we just said, okay, there's no LeBron. Let's just say it was a regular season game. No LeBron. AD is going to play 32 minutes in this game. Don't you think people like this? Let's say it just happened. They've been playing all season. Everybody would play AD. Now they're not going to. And I am going to be, I want to be ahead on this train. I want to be ahead of the curve. So I really don't want to miss the AD explosion. And this is the perfect spot.
I have another statement to make. Is that, so for those of you that are ever like thinking about, well, why is Westbrook like such an awesome fantasy producer, right? As opposed to someone like, let's take Bradley Beal as an example. Okay, so I was watching the Washington game the other day, and I don't remember even who I had in DFS, but I saw that he had 40. He was 40 points. Beal now 42, now 44. I'm like, oh my God, there's people that stack Westbrook and Beal together are just gonna freaking kill it, right? Or people that play Beal. If you don't have Beal, whatever. So Bradley Beal had 45 real life points and had 50 fantasy points. Okay. And Russell Westbrook never has that. Russell Westbrook will score 50 fantasy points with 6 real life points. Right. And that's just the difference, that's where I'm at with that. What I would say is that, can you play Anthony Davis and just just play Anthony Davis and not run it back with Westbrook?
Yeah, of course. But why would you not want to play Westbrook? I don't understand.
Well, no. I
Have
mean,
value.
the Lakers still play decent defense, right? I mean,
it doesn't matter with Westbrook.
Okay.
I honestly don't. When he gets in these zones, I just don't think it matters that much. I mean, just look at his game log. Like, and I'm not saying you're going to get the 75, but you don't need the 75. You need to get points, okay? Especially when there's going to be value opening up. This is the safest bet for points we've had. Outside of one game, it's been literally like, what is it? 1 out of the last like 30 that he hasn't hit 50 fantasy points. I mean, what are we even thinking about at some point? You know what I mean?
Well, the reason why,
in there too. I mean, it's not like he can't put up 95. I don't know. I just don't see any reason if the value is there to not play Westbrook personally.
I'm going to put Westbrook in for now, but I'm gonna make a case later for why I don't want to play Westbrook.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're doing it. You're doing the little setup thing.
Right.
All right. Do you want to get to Chicago, New York?
Yeah, Chicago against New York. So
why is Kobe White projected so high fantasy wise? I'm running into that like a little bit. It seems a little
Kobe
crazy.
White. Not really getting that much of that.
I just see the projections on him seem crazy. I'm not playing him either, but the projections just through the roof. I didn't really know if there's something I'm missing. Maybe.
Just so you know, RG is a couple of points higher than everybody else.
I would guess that. I would have guessed that. Yeah. I mean, there's no way that could be his median right there.
They're a couple of points higher.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And this is one of the things I always think about is that they also have him as twice the ownership because they're like thinking that their projection is right.
Right.
So that's why they think he's going to be higher owned. Like
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But so I don't like him. I like Vooch and I like Randall. And I don't know if I'm gonna get to either of them. But those are the two guys I like. I like Randall. He's like kind of a top 10 player for me. And maybe I should play Vooch. I don't know. I can't do it. Not at that price.
You can't do it.
Yeah, not at that price.
Yeah.
So for me, it's either Randall or probably nothing from this game.
Yeah, we have very different. We're definitely different on this one. I love Derrick Rose. I think that it's almost a must play.
That's the second time, man. Because the last time you like Derrick Rose, I don't have him anywhere on my board, and he like just went off. So maybe I should take a look at that.
Listen to Derrick Rose's, and this is the down the stretch while the Knicks are winning. Keep in mind, obviously, you know this. 28, 26, 38, 26, 31, 38, 37. And oh, by the way, he's facing a team that can't guard guards, and that also was his old team. Look, I'm not saying that you should give any narrative and even into this. Separate from narrative, he's a freaking awesome play. The minutes are there. He's been incredibly productive. The guy who I'm struggling with in this game is Nerlins Noel. I never thought there would be a day where like I always thought Noel, once he got the opportunity, would at least put up good fantasy games. And it turns out it's been a little bit the opposite. He's played well in real life, but his fantasy production has not been there. But at 4,400, I'm probably willing to take a shot there against the Bulls. They're going to need to have that body. Well, him or Gibson against Vooch. I'm not going to reach and say, hey, go play Taj Gibson on the other side, but I could see one of those guys having a decent game. I just think Noel, I'm giving him I'm open to him. But Derrick Rose is where this game mostly is for me. And then the other guy is on the Chicago side is Thaddeus Young.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that he's too cheap.
On Fanduel.
On both sites, he's 5,100 on DraftKings.
That's true.
So I like Thaddeus Young, but I really, 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 really like Derrick Rose.
So again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, kind of like chaos theory. If someone ends up like having $1 billion company that cures cancer that they ended up developing because of 100,000 they won tonight. And the 100,000 they won was because I remembered to go back and mention something I forgot to mention to them. I will be so happy when cancer is cured. So I forgot to mention, I want to ask you before we left that Laker-Washington game, that what you thought of Dennis Schroeder. Like if you're going to play this game, I mean, it's a fast-paced game with a lot of stuff that could happen. He would be the other guy that I would throw in.
I can't believe I didn't mention him because I totally agree.
Okay.
And I also messed up on one other thing. No, I didn't mess up. He's too expensive. It'd be nice if he was still in the 3K ish range. I'm just saying that Gafford will have games, and against a team that plays big, they might play him a little bit more. They tend to like him a little. They've liked him a little better than the other bigs lately. Probably a reach on this slate, but I just wanted to throw his name out there while you mentioned that game again. We could jump over to San Antonio, Miami, which is pretty unexciting.
Yeah, I still can't believe that freaking Ray Allen made that shot. I mean, that was just it's an amazing bit of business against San Antonio. That was just awesome.
Heartbreaking though to me. I mean, oh man, I was not a big Heat guy.
Yeah.
So we got really like a bunch of like not even question marks, like they're questionable. Although Hero is questionable, but
just let them all play so I don't have to play anybody.
I don't want to touch it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, Lonnie Walker, yeah, maybe this is the day he puts up 30. Maybe it's the day he puts up 2 again. I mean, literally like 3rd time in a row. Patty Mills, as active as he looks, like when are we getting past 20 with this guy? Like, it's just really, really, really hard to justify any of these guys for me. Even the guy I usually mention as a low-owned option, like Bam, I'm just not getting there. I'm really not. Like, if Hero and Nunn are out again, then we're back in on Dragic. That's what I would say, is that Dragic and Rose would be where you start your guards. If they're both in, I'm not interested in anybody on this Miami side.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
My question is, and you could look this up. I already know the answer. Why don't you look this up? What is the spread and the total of the Portland-Memphis game?
The spread is 1. The total is 239.
Oh, okay. I have another question.
Total.
How many minutes did Damien Lillard play in the 4th quarter yesterday?
My guess off the top of my head would be 0.
Would be 0. This is one of the reasons why it's going to be hard for me to play Westbrook.
Oh, okay.
I'm just all over this.
Get him over on Fanduel where he's 8,100.
Oh, I'm going to.
Literally no one will play him on DraftKings.
Yeah, there will be one person. And what makes it also hard is the Memphis guys are kind of tough with respect to their values and things like that. The one guy who's standing out as a play on Memphis is Melton at 3,800. But that's not the reason to play Lillard. You know what I mean? I'm not playing Lillard so I can necessarily get Melton. I'm probably just going to play him by himself and just take a 240 total in a spread game. That they're in full win mode. They rested him in the 4th last night, and I'm in, and I think I'll play him on DraftKings too. So I'm definitely playing him on FanDuel, but I might try it on DraftKings.
This is a game I wouldn't mind watching. I really, really, I think that we're sleeping on Ja. I actually think Ja might be a better play than Lillard.
You could be right.
What this guy is doing lately?
Yep.
I mean, so let me just go through his last games. And by the way, 2 of them are against Portland, so that's probably worth noting.
Dude, I'll play CJ McCollum in this game too.
70. These are his games. Listen to these 5. 72.5, 37.5, 62.75, 46, and 44. Now they made his price a little more at 8,200, which about time they did. But look, it's Portland, which is like the nuts to play this team. As much as we all love to say Lillard and how great he is, and he is an unbelievable real life guy, great human being, great shooter, great all these things. He is not a defender.
Nope.
And these guys are just gonna. I could see these guys going back and forth. I sort of like the Lillard Ja combo, which does make it hard to play Westbrook. Fair. I also think that though, look, we're talking about Lillard. We should probably note that McCollum has been pretty good against these guys, but probably a little bit too expensive for where I'd want to go with him. But I really like the idea of either Lillard or Ja or both if I'm not going to play Westbrook.
Dude, what is this? This is like the NBA playoffs. This is the 3rd time these guys have played in four games.
I know, and they had the play-in game last year.
So I just want to read these to you. So 8 of 22, 8 of 27, right? He hasn't shot over 50% from the field ever in this whole board. Just have him make a couple of them.
Okay, but I'll read you another thing that's a little bit disturbing. 6, 5, 5, and 5. That's not a good assist rate.
No, it sure isn't.
Not for him anyway. It's not.
It sure isn't.
If you look at Ja, just straight up, I mean,
Dude, Ja's the nuts. Pretty much.
I really think that Ja is taking over. He's doing his thing again, and he looks like himself. And he's been unbelievable. And he's not reliant on these things. I mean, look, he put up 62 against Portland last time. He shot 3 threes. He was 1 of 3. He only took 17 shots in that game. Like, he doesn't need to do, like, he's just, I don't know. He's awesome. So I really like both those guys. I guess we made that pretty clear.
I also like CJ McCollum, like you said. And I also like a little bit of the other dudes. I like a little bit of Nurkic. I like a little bit of Covington. Dude, it's a 240-point total in a pick'em game when both teams are trying to win. You know what I mean? Like, I think you kind of want to play some of this.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nurkic is so I don't know what they're going to do with Nurkic on a back-to-back, but the thing is, they did only play him 19 minutes yesterday because of the blowout. So maybe if he gets there, and by the way, Nurkic is like, I'm not going to say he's like the same as Jokic or something, but this is a guy who can regularly put up 50s when he's getting his normal minutes.
Right.
Back-to-back off the injury, a little concerning, but I agree with you about Nurkic. This is a great game. This is a game you would want to get some pieces of, and if somehow you were to get like that down the stretch play, even not the overtime, you could just get so much out of this game, man. It's just
and you have both Moran and Lillard.
Oh, you got it made. Yeah, absolutely. All right, you want to talk about New Orleans and Denver? Another pretty good game to target.
Except I don't want to target it. So I like Jokic, and that was it. So you want to talk me into this?
I'm not gonna I think I might play Jokic, but I don't think I'm going to as of right now. I'm not currently. Okay. The guy who I would play is Lonzo.
Okay.
I think that 6,500 is too cheap for his production, his usage, everything. Just gonna say with Jokic, we've all been saying like every day he's been the highest owned of all these guys, and all it takes is a little looking at the games, and some of it the blowouts and stuff like that. But I mean, look, that's always possible too. It's not. He's not an absolute lock for 60 plus. Like I feel at this moment that I actually feel like Westbrook is the more likely to hit 60 than Jokic. I think they both probably hit 60, but I'm leaning Westbrook over Jokic right now. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I may play both of them in some lineups, but I do like Lonzo. That's pretty much it for me in this game.
We got to remember to do Fanduel, because I'm looking at some of these ownerships of some of these Fanduels. I mean, it's early ownership, but I'm looking like Lillard at 20%, only 20% at 8,100.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thing. There's no chance that happens.
Yeah.
I don't think. And then I'm looking at Cole Anthony getting 20%. I'll make that side bet. I bet you that Lillard.
A freaking tough slate. They should let us pick 2 teams. This is nuts. This slate. Yeah. Now we're going to get to the chalk part of this slate. Okay.
Yeah.
So Utah.
Yep.
As crazy as it sounds, what about just avoiding it?
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the plays first of all. So.
Jordan Clarkson's going to be like 40% owned at 7K. I mean, this is like, I get it. Like he put up 34 in the last game and he was 5 for 20. It's Sacramento.
Yeah, but he's always going to be 5 for 20.
Fair enough. That's the other part of it. But if he does happen to be 10 for 20, he's, you got it made. But I mean, I see him and Ingles as being extremely popular here. And I'm not even saying it's not for good reason. I'll just do other things. There's plenty of other plays I can make on the slate that I don't need to play these mega chalk guys in a game that honestly they might win like going away in this one. This could be an easy one for them. They have enough bodies healthy, even though the guards aren't there. You still have Bogdanovich, Gobert, O'Neal will eat up some of those minutes. And I understand that likely one of these guys puts up 40, maybe both do. There's other plays out there that I can find that'll differentiate my build. Maybe I come back to this, maybe I don't, but as of right now, I prefer the Derrick Rose, the slightly cheaper guards, or the spending up to the Westbrook, Lillard, Ja range.
See, one thing that I don't think people realize, and maybe I'm talking out my ass on this, but the people that are going to be playing Sacramento, because oh my God, it's a real fast-paced match with Sacramento. Sacramento with no Fox is like light years slower.
Right.
Okay. Just because Fox is like one of the fastest players in the league.
Absolutely. Okay? 100%.
And so if you're expecting to get that just big like Sacramento bump, right, for Utah, I just don't think it's happening. right? You're playing Utah on their normal efficiency and usage as a function of Mitchell being out as well. Okay, so yeah, okay, great. Like you said, Clarkson, sure, it's probably going to rate to be a good play, but I mean, you have a chalky guy with a lot of shooting variance. You know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, I'm going to try to avoid that if you want to know the truth. And like,
Are we funny? The guy we always play, like we probably play more Clarkson than most people in the industry.
Right, at
and now
4,900 on FanDuel. You know, like that's like.
Oh, on FanDuel, I don't think you can fade him.
No, but even still, yeah. I mean, so Clarkson, yeah, I mean, he's going to be really, really chalky, and you know, I don't have to play him. I'll leave it at that. And then on the Ingles, chalk Ingles. I mean, I guess it's fine. I do like what's his name. I do like Gobert somewhat at center at 8,300 on DraftKings. His ownership's a little more tempered because like you have that Jokic play that's going to soak up a lot of ownership.
Yeah, and he doesn't get any benefit from the other guys being out. So that's he won't show up as being.
Yeah, and and with against the Sacramento Bigs, I mean he'll be able to get his, he'll do pretty much what he wants. So I do like him. I don't like anybody else from Utah except the guys you mentioned. Although I will say and again, I'm just really making this up, but one time I played this guy who was really good for me, this George Niang. Is there enough people that he's going to be getting a lot of minutes? I guess not. Okay.
It's just like it's not really the positions that he goes to, but it could work out that way. Like I just don't think that we need to go that.
Bogdanovich, even he's not too cheap. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I really need this. I think I'm gonna stand by my concept that Sacramento without Fox is just not the same Coors Field as it is with Fox.
Totally agree.
And on the Sacramento side, sure, same thing. I'm sure Halliburton rates to be fine. At 7,100, he's gonna have if you fade him, he's gonna have to get 50 to beat you. And while he can do that, I mean, and like, well, Utah's not like the Utah of old. I mean, they still can play some defense, and like you said, I mean, they could run them out of the building for all we know. I mean, so it's I think they're fine plays. I think Halliburton's a fine play, but I don't think it's like a lock or anything I have to play.
I totally am on the same page. I feel the same way about Halliburton that I do a little bit about the Jazz guys. Yeah, I mean, look, these are all good plays. It's just they're going to be very chalky on a giant slate where there's just a million different routes to go. And I'm trying to avoid the mega chalk here. So that I don't feel is like an automatic smash. I do think Halliburton though is around 40 like so much of the time here that I'll probably have some exposure to these guys. I just don't think it's going to be a priority for me. Now that we have the biggest real life game of the night.
Can I almost want to say this like really, really softly, but can I interest you in Paul George and Chris Paul, or Paul George and Devin Booker, like all in a little mini game stack, or no, or not really?
It's Chris Paul for me if you're going to do anybody. Okay. I've mentioned it over and over again. When the games are tough, he just plays great, and he basically always gets there, and he's kind of an interesting pivot off of those other guys. And he can get 50. You can play him instead of Halliburton. I don't think I'm going to end up doing a ton of it, but I think he's a very, very solid play. And then Paul George is obviously a really strong play. So for me, this is a very big game, but also because I have Phoenix. I need Phoenix to beat the Clippers, and this would put them I think they're up by one game right now.
What's going on here? Oh, do you want the Lakers to be?
I have Phoenix as Phoenix at 50-1 to win the division.
Oh, wow.
Not the conference, but the division. And they're right now in first in the division ahead of the Lakers and Clippers. And
whoa.
And the Clippers are a game. What are they right now? A game and a half back or a game?
Oh, my God. Okay.
So, yeah, they're one game back. Phoenix is also one game back, but they're two up in the loss column, Phoenix. So they could really put the clinch on, and they could basically nail it here. and they've got a shot at winning the whole conference too. They're only one game back of the Jazz. So they're playing for something. And yeah, between that and Bradley, me needing Bradley Beal to score like 50 real life points tonight, those are my two biggest personal season long bets, because he's right there.
Well, he's putting you back in contention for that with his last game.
Yeah, I think he's plus 600 right now, or plus 500.
Oh.
But they're like even. They're like, I think they have the same. They're within like 0.1 right now.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, Paul George. I'll tell you what. If it's gonna sound crazy, I don't mind Rondo, and just sort of play and pray kind of a thing. I think that there's an outside chance that value ends up being better than most. Phoenix, as we know, plays multiple guards. It's a big game, as I already mentioned. I think you could see Rondo getting a little bit more run in this kind of a matchup, especially because he's got familiarity with Paul and things like that. They hate each other. They have cost me money by, what was it? Was it Rondo spit in his face, I think? Got ejected?
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, it's just kind of interesting. It's a long shot play. Maybe what you can do is what I've been keep preaching about is, if you can find like a utility spot for a guy like that, you're probably going to get better value by the time 10 Eastern rolls around. Anyway.
Do you want to move on to FanDuel?
Sure, we can jump over to FanDuel.
So FanDuel, starting at the point guard position, as previously mentioned, Damien Lillard is 8,100. And then my other top play at point guard, if you wanted to pay down, you could go all the way down to Wanamaker. You could talk about Westbrook if you want, but for me, I'll go back to, just so I don't forget to do it, I'll put Dennis Schroeder in here. He looks a little weird at 7K actually, but I do like it.
Yeah, it's weird with Schroeder on DraftKings, because you run into all those other guys that's in the same price range that feel like pretty. But then again, he's right there. He's not that far behind those guys in terms of plays. But I definitely think he's a little bit better over here. Yeah. So for me, I still like Westbrook. I still like pretty much everybody that I like over there. Ja, Westbrook. I do think that actually Campazzo's price is a little bit more reasonable. Wanamaker obviously is the value, but I would go back to the middle, and we mentioned the other guys, but Terry Rozier certainly has a ceiling. So does Lonzo Ball. And then Damian Lillard's 8,100, and I just don't see a world where I make a big lineup and I'm not going to play Damian Lillard 8,100 in an important game. I don't care what the numbers look like recently. I just don't. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's 8,100 is Damian Lillard, and it's good enough for me in a matchup where they may need it.
So at shooting guard, the chalk is going to be Jordan Clarkson and Tyrese Halliburton, I believe.
Yep.
And they both look like pretty good plays. If you want a couple of others, if you don't want to play Lillard, you could play CJ McCollum at 7,700 over here. Also, what was the other one I had? Oh, much more cheaper over here. If you wanted to play Devin Booker, you could do him at 7,700. I don't know if I'm going to get up to Paul George at 9,900. You could try to talk me into that, and then if you want to go all the way down, I think Gary Harris is like 600 or something like that. I don't know what Gary Harris, but I had him written down as having value over here. But I think that if you don't play Lillard, you can play McCollum at shooting guard, but the top plays are probably going to be Clarkson and Halliburton.
Yeah, I would throw Devontae Graham in there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did have him too.
He would be the other one for me, but I think I don't mind eating a little chalk. I don't love this position outside of Devontae Graham and the guys you mentioned, the Clarkson, Halliburton. I just think I'll eat a little bit more chalk over here.
Well, let me put Halliburton over here. Small forward is a little, again, I think I kind of like the chalk over here. I mean, Jaylen Brown, well, maybe it won't be that chalky today because all these guys are back. Jaylen Brown, 8,100, which makes me remember that maybe you're supposed to play Rozier. Maybe Rozier at point guard is not the worst idea either.
Yeah, you get a nice little Rozier
Jaylen Brown thing over there.
I don't mind that.
And you get the Clarkson, Halliburton, and you get the Rozier. Oh, we might be getting on this. Ooh, maybe I'll play Valanciunas at center by the time we get there. If he's even still playing, I don't even know.
Yeah, he is.
But the other guys at small forward are, you want to play Ingles, go play Ingles. But is Osman still really cheap over here?
He's 55.
No, they priced him up a little bit too, huh?
Yeah, I got to give credit to these guys. Like they
Yep.
did a good job with pricing these guys up. One name you didn't mention is Rui, and I think that he would be interested here at 4,200. He played in his first game back. He played 32 minutes, 31, almost 32 minutes. Put up 27 points. I think that we could take a shot on him at 4,200. I also think that in a different, like, one guy, look, this is gonna feel gross, but if you just need to straight up punt something, Garrett Temple's gonna play 30 plus minutes and he's minimum cost. It's not beautiful, but that's what it is. And the same time though, like, because you're gonna have a really, really, really chalky Bogdanovich, and sure, fine, okay, I get it. I'm in.
Who, Bogdanovich? You be really chalky?
Oh yeah, he's 5,200. He's gonna. I mean, he should rate to be like the top guy on the slate at small forward. But I again, another shooting reliant guy. I already liked both the other Jazz at the other positions on FanDuel better. I'm sorry, both the other, at small forward Ingles. I would rather play Ingles than at 61 than Bogdanovich at 52. And I also am still looking at Clark. I still think I'm going to play Clarkson over here. So I'm probably not going to play all three of them. And the third one will probably be Jaylen Brown or one of these spend downs. And I'm guessing that we're going to have some later information today. The one guy who we haven't really talked about today, who I just think like sort of off brand for us, but I'm just not quite getting to Bogdanovich. And over here, I would think he's a better play just because I don't like small forward over here that much.
You mean Bogdan?
Yeah. Sorry, okay. The other Bogdanov. Yeah, sorry. Bogdan, not Bojan.
Okay.
All right. Power forward?
Power forward, you could play the aforementioned Thad Young, who you brought up earlier. He's 5K. The other guys, I think Randall's probably a little bit too expensive. Dean Wade is only 3,500 over here. If you want to do that, or I mean, you want to talk me into AD over here or no?
Tell you what, yeah, I mean, what is AD's price right now?
97 or something like that.
It's a little higher than
95.
A little less interested, not only because of I think there actually are some other decent plays. Well, I don't know. I kind of like him. I'm open to that one. I probably am going to pay up at center and spend down a little bit more. If Jay Crowder is in tonight, hopefully we'll know beforehand. I think he's going to get his normal minutes. So Jay Crowder at 3,700 is kind of interesting. Dean Wade, I mentioned. Covington in that game. It's a good spot. It's a good type of matchup for him, but we know with Covington comes great, risk sometimes. I also, and then Thad Young. Thad Young is probably my favorite tournament guy over here, but he's actually going to be pretty popular. Maybe I don't like this decision. Maybe we do just go back to, no, you know what though? Like I think at that point, if I'm going to play Davis, I probably just play Zion over here, or even Tatum. They're cheaper than they are over on DraftKings. That's probably what I would do if I was paying up over here. But mostly I think that I'll be spending in the middle or on the Covington, Thad Young, Chuma, Okiki.
What do you think of, you mentioned him before over on, in passing. What do you think of Kevin Love at 5,600?
Thought about it.
Not too exciting though.
I'm just annoyed by I mean, they really are capping his minutes and basically, just hard for me to want to do it, but I'm open to it. He's 5.6. I like the guys who are 5K a little bit better, but I think that I could see playing Kevin Love here.
Center, Gobert, Jared Allen, 6,500. You mentioned him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're paying up, man. Then you're at Embiid, Jokic, Vooch at 8,700. It's pretty tempting.
I like it. I'm very good with the Vooch on FanDuel thing.
Can you play him with Thad Young?
Yeah, you could. I don't think it's the worst thing to do. I didn't look at Derrick Rose's price, which just reminded me over here because we didn't mention him. Just thinking about a little game action. He's a little more expensive over here, so a little less interesting to me over here. But I think that because I mentioned so many values, I would be happy to pay for Vooch I'd be happy to pay for Jokic. And I definitely think that Jared Allen could have a big night, but I think that goes for both sides. I don't think it's really that different. And then obviously Gobert makes a lot of sense at 7,900. So, I think for tournaments I'd rank it, Vooch and Jokic first. Probably Jokic first, but Vooch just behind them. I did want to point out one thing about Davis that's negative, because I don't want to just say that it's an automatic lock play. My concern with playing him is the lack. What happens with Drummond teams is Drummond eats up so many rebounds. He's just he's an awesome rebounder, that it takes away a little bit from Davis's rebounding upside, which does bother me a little bit, because it's a big part of where Davis is going to get his production from. I still like him, but I just want to throw that out there as the one downside to him. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Drummond had a big game here. I don't think I'm going to end up getting to it, but obviously we know this is a great matchup, and he can just demolish this team.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, by the way, that I do like, even though they priced him up, I do like Chetty even at 5,500, by the way.
Okay.
I do. I like him just as much as Bojan, actually. So.
I like that, Sheets. I can get behind that.
Right, so just so you guys know, I'm not going to be in. I'm not going to be doing the 6 o'clock thing tonight.
Oh.
And that's about it.
Okay.
Well, but that doesn't mean we're not doing it.
Yeah. All right, and cool. I think we're good for basketball. We've got some golf to get to, so I'm gonna load this thing up. And guys, good luck. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.